Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Success Digest Entrepreneur Spotlight. Today, we have a very special guest. He goes by the name of Walter Enyinnaya. Now, Walter is a freelance copywriter, and I've known Walter for a while. I've also been able to go through his materials, and I've seen that he knows what he's talking about. And apart from that, he has the results to back it up. So, I'm really very careful when I'm picking out people to work with because we know how the market is. But Walter is one of those guys that over the past 3 years have been able to monitor his activities, and I've seen that, he's the real deal. So in this episode of Success Digest Entrepreneur Spotlight, I want to introduce the world to Walter Enyinnaya, and I want him to tell us how he got started in the freelance copywriting business. So without further ado, let me allow Walter to take the floor. You're welcome, Walter.
All right, thank you. So, brief introduction. My name is Walter Enyinnaya, and about 7 years ago, I got started in making money online, and I got started with internet marketing as a whole. And fast forward today, we thank God I'm someone who is worthy of an interview that can actually help other people who might be starting their journey today. So if you are listening to this, I would advise that you pay full attention to any insights that's going to be shared here because it's definitely going to help you a lot.
Thank you for that, Walter. You heard it from the horse's mouth. So before we dive into more information, I want to ask, a lot of people don't know what you do. I mean, imagine you meet a stranger at the bus stop and like, hey, Chief, what do you do? So how would you explain this freelance copywriting to a total beginner that has no idea what it is?
Okay. So usually when people ask me what I do, if I tell them copywriting, they're kind of confused or I have to explain. So I just usually tell them that I help business owners make more sales. Like I just simply put something as simple as that. But then if they ask, oh, how do you help them make more sales? I'll tell them, I help them write their adverts. I help them reward the way they frame their products so that it appeals to more people or it appeals better to their customers or potential customers. So that's why it's easily understandable for them.
Very true, very true. Thanks for that, Walter, because when people hear copywriting, they imagine that copyright label on products, but we have to educate them. Copywriting is what makes the world go around. The world makes money come into the pockets. Yeah. Now, before you became the Walter we are celebrating today, what was your life like before you stumbled on copywriting? Can you give us a brief background on your life?
All right. So the way I got started freelancing was back in 2018. Back then, I was still in year 3, basically. And at that point, money was not coming from home. Things were already bad, but that was like one of the worst points ever. I could not afford school fees. I was already owing from year 2 down to year 3. So everything was just stiff. And I could not even afford a house rent for that year. So I had to move and live in a mud house for the time being. Now, during that time, around that time, I've already started searching on how to make money online. When you search how to make money online, usually you're going to get hit with most of all these Forex kind of ads. So I was seeing stuff about binary options, Olymp trade, Binomo, and the rest of that. That's actually what I tried to do. But those ones required me to have capital, even if it's $5, which was about maybe 2,000, 1,800 then, or even less. I cannot really remember so well. But I could not really succeed with it. Even though when I found the 1,800 to find and put in there, I could not really succeed with it. So over time, as I was still researching, I learned about freelancing and I learned about skills. Back then, what was most popular was graphics design. That was what everybody was talking about, graphics design or content writing. But one day I was on Twitter, right? And I came across Abdukwe and I think Mr. Ronald's tweets. They were talking about copywriting and how it's such a lucrative business and how people want to research about it. I did not wait for them to explain everything to me. I simply went to Google. I started Googling about copywriting. I started searching YouTube for any available free video I could find. And over time, I was able to get some free books. I was able to read and get started with it. However, I never really started working with foreign clients within that time. This is all within the space of months in that time, 2018 to 2019 beginning. Now, during that time, I now got my first job. My first job was paying me 5,000 naira per month. I called myself a copywriter, but I was not really doing copywriting on that job because I was helping I was basically like a virtual assistant. I was helping the person reply all their messages I was helping the person do a little bit of graphic design that I picked up from YouTube on how to use Canva, right? I was just doing maybe design their flyer. I was replying their messages. I was scheduling their Facebook post. I helped them open their Facebook page and set up their Facebook page. And everything that you could think of, anything that they know how to do, they gave it to me. It was a lot of work actually for 5,000 naira. So that's exact same thing I was doing, was what I did for two more clients. One, her name was Abuja Cakes. She had she had like a bakery. She used to bake cakes for people. She was paying me about 10,000 naira per, no, okay, that was about 20,000 naira per month. I think she was my highest paying. She was paying me about 20,000 naira per month. All in all, during that period, I was making about 30,000 naira every single month. But it was not enough. But it was enough for me to actually survive, because at least then Nigeria has not been as bad as it is now. So when I got started with freelancing, that was my chronicle of getting started with freelancing. But when I started getting started with foreign clients, what I was doing at first was I was writing CVs for people. So I was helping them structure their CVs. I'll go on the internet, I'll do my research. I was not trained on these things. I just used Google and common sense, and I'll arrange it and give to them. And it was not really paying. It was paying $5 and the rest. But the first copywriting job I got paid me $100. And I would never forget, it was to write over about almost 300 product descriptions for an e-commerce store. But that $100 was like heaven to me, because it took me 5 days to write those product descriptions. And that $100 came in at 36,500, which was basically above all my money I earned in a month for a job that took me just 5 days to get done. And I had to go to my friend's house to borrow his laptop to complete the job, but that one did not matter. So I would say that was like the major time, or that was the main time I started freelancing with my first $100 gig. But every other thing I did up to that point was just preparing me for the battlefield.
That's an interesting story, Walter. Especially when you talked about living in a hut for a while. I mean, you've come a long way, you've really come a long way, man, and I'm proud of you. So
Thank you.
you came from the hut, from this is a proper grass to grace story, Walter. What has life been like? How has copywriting, freelance copywriting changed your life so far? I mean, you look much fresher now. You look like a fresh graduate.
No,
So
it
I
has
mean,
changed my life a lot, a lot. I cannot even explain it. So one of the things I always think I can find myself thinking about at least every week is how when I go to the supermarkets, I do not check the price. I just put anything inside there because I can afford it. It doesn't matter if the bill is coming out 300K, the money is there. I also do not even know the current price of fuel because I can afford it. And it's kind of funny I said this now, because I remember when Mr. Tony Omotosho, I don't know if anyone knows him, basically there was a product sale, there was an advert he made or something I read. I can't remember. He said something about if you learn marketing and all of these skills, you will not even it's not even matter even if price of fuel goes to over 1,000. And even when fuel went to over 1,000, when I go to fuel my car, I did not really like check the price. I cannot really point how much fuel has been. So that's like one major thing. I can afford anything I want. I have more control over my time too, right? I have more control over my time, which is very good, because I'm looking at like the people that I was meant to graduate with. Sometimes I see their status and like everybody's complaining about, oh, tomorrow is Monday again and the rest. But me, I just know that Monday is leg day. I'm going to the gym first things first before I even think of doing work or anything. So it's really an awesome lifestyle. If you want to talk about traveling outside country, at least I go to like 2 countries every year. I try, mostly towards the end of the year. And just a whole lot of things that's changed my life, giving me more experience, both good experience, both bad experience, but it has opened my eyes to a side of life I never thought was possible. Because I thought that, oh, I would be a medical doctor and that's what I am. And maybe by now I'll probably be struggling to make about 500K a month, which would not even solve a lot, would solve quarter of my needs in like a week in this current economy. But we thank God for where we are right now. So that's just how my life has been. It has been really amazing. And I think another thing I'm grateful for is that even though I wanted to be a doctor because I was like, oh, I want to help people, I think, I believe that just within this short time, I've been able to help more people than I ever would have been able to help as a doctor.
I agree with that, Walter. I really agree with that because the ability to give people money at the time of need trumps a lot of things and changes a lot of things for people, Walter. So it's been a great journey for you so far. It's been a really great journey. But before you end your first $100, like you said, there was a period
Yeah.
between learning and seeing results. That's like the trenches of learning, yeah. So how did you keep
Yes.
going during that period? Because a lot of people drop out. I mean, you're not the first or only person I heard about freelance copywriting, but if 10 people started, maybe only one or two got to the finish line. So how did you keep going from excitement to the trenches and back to the peak of the mountain? So how did you keep going, Walter?
All right. I would say I had a very strong why. And that would be maybe majorly because of two reasons. Now, the first one is that I was staying in the mud house. So there was no lights, there was no electricity. I used to pay 15 naira every day to go and charge my phone. And I'll pick it up, charge it again, pick it up, and just be working. So at night, like if there's in like a week, at least like 4 nights, cockroach will fly on top of you. So that one, that was a great motivation. And I hate cockroach, so that was like a major motivation for me. I did not forget that one, right? So that was the first one. And the second one was that, I dropped out of school to do this.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like, I gave myself a target that I would succeed no matter what. So even if this thing fails, I'll go and sell t-shirts in front of school, but it never got to that point. So I gave myself a target that before these guys graduate, I would already have something very tangible. I will have something solid at hand. I was not even thinking lavish. I was not even thinking, oh, I'll be a millionaire and the rest of that. I just wanted to like maybe have like 500K per month, something kind of lifestyle. Maybe buy Corolla or those. I just wanted to be comfortable because when I dropped out, I know the amount of insults I got. Right, I had to like close my other line because people were like, "You're kind of foolish for doing this. You don't have sense." All those kind of things. I didn't want their opinions because everybody doubted. So I didn't want their opinions. So those were my two major motivations. But I would say the major one was that mother house, man. And there was nothing like when you wake up every morning, no, I was like, this cannot be the life I'm meant to live. So that really lit a fire in my ass because I left that mother house within 3 months, right?
yeah.
I made about within 3 to 4 months. I made over 300, I believe 500K within that time period and I left that place immediately. It's really lit a fire in my ass.
Man,
So let me just add something. So as for the other times, maybe when I started seeing some money, maybe I started seeing like $1,000 per month, but then things were not going my way. I just had that, oh, I need to be better than, I dropped out of school, so I have no fallback plan. I know I am, at least in the eyes of society, I have no fallback plan. So I was like, I genuinely have to do this. Now, there's also the aspect of, oh, taking care of my parents and as an Igbo man now, sending money home and the rest of that. But what gave me my strongest why was always that I dropped out of school, so there's no place for me to fall back on. I think as at now, it's just kind of like autopilot to me. I just want to achieve great things. But back then, those were like my main things, my main drivers that was pushing me.
thank you very much for that, Walter, for that candid explanation. Because a lot of people would just say "not good" or something, but you went deep into it. Now, you've already mentioned one, the qualities for success as a freelancer, determination, having a personal drive. I mean, for it to succeed, you need to be a high agency person, yeah? But what other traits separates the winners from the losers, if you will? What other personality traits do you need to succeed as a freelancer?
All right. I would say, if you ask me, the most important one of all would be the ability to figure things out. Because it doesn't matter what you learn on YouTube, because there's a lot of free materials now. There's even AI to help you, right? Back then, there was like when I got my first $1,000 job, it was to write a video sales letter. Believe it or not, I've never heard of a video sales letter since up to that point. Everything that every copywriting course or mentor was teaching was always sales letter, sales letter, sales letter. I was like, which one is a video sales letter? And I could only find about 2 videos on YouTube that could teach that. I'm sure if you go now, you would see a lot more videos because people have actually come up and started creating more content, especially since 2020 during that time, right? But that's my situation then. So it's the ability for you to figure things out. You want to be able to figure things out because things are not always going to be black and white. So you might learn that let's say just the way I was only used to sales letters as an email copy as a copywriter then, right? I was just everything was just handwrite sales letters. But then the job that gave me my first breakthrough into thousands of dollars was a video sales letter. I did not have anybody to come and teach me how to do that. I had to go and research. I had to use Google. I had to use swipe.co. I had to find any free material I could find on YouTube. I had to go through Facebook groups, look at people's, go through people's bio, go through their funnel, the ones that had video sales letter. I had an idea of how this thing is meant to look, and I was able to recreate it and do that job and get paid. So that is very, very important because things are not always going to go exactly the way you learn them. So if you can figure things out, it would help. If you hear about something, let's say you hear something now on this like video interview now, you hear something and you're like, how do I go about it? If you can just go on Google and search about it and then dig deep and know exactly how to apply that to yourself, that's like the greatest thing that you can have as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, as someone who is starting out. Because one of the ways I got clients back then, I was using a lot of unorthodox methods. And some of them I got ideas from people, not like even now when everybody's sharing client getting strategies, they were not there. Some of them I had to use my common sense. For example, there was a time I found Shopify IP address, and then I used that IP address to find all the stores listed on Shopify. Now, this is thousands of stores. So now, since I had thousands of stores, I could go to their websites and their supports and find their email. So I started doing that. I started sending them emails, and I sent over 1,000 emails. And let's say about 10 to 20 people replied me. And basically, I also got jobs from them. I got $300 gig, I got $500 jobs from them. So that is one way that nobody ever teaches you how to get clients. So if you can figure things out by yourself, it's going to be very helpful. Now, I'll also say curiosity, but I think that's also part of figuring things out yourself. And the last one, I think everybody knows this one, is just persistence. Don't give up, right? There's going to be time when it's going to be as if it's too easy, and there's going to be times when it's going to be like, oh, this thing is hard, though. It's not you do self. Am I sure I made the right career path? Am I sure I'm doing the right thing? Either ways, you just have to like keep showing up every day, and eventually everything will come into place or fall into place.
All right, thank you for that, Walter. Thank you for that. As you heard, nothing comes easy. Yeah, nothing comes easy, but if you keep going, you're going to succeed in it. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Now, for the
All
curious
right.
ones watching this video, they'll ask themselves, okay, you talk about getting clients. How exactly do you get clients as a freelance copywriter? I mean, just give us an overview of the process. How does it work?
All right. So when it comes to getting clients, the way I like to make it easy on myself so that rejection does not touch me is, first of all, I repeat it every time in my head. It's a numbers game. So I know that, okay, I need to send at least 100 people a message for me to get at least 5 replies or 10 replies. It depends on what stage you are. It depends on how good you are. It depends on your portfolio. It depends on your previous experience. So if you are very fresh, you don't even have a mock-up portfolio, you don't have any of those things, you might need to send a whole lot more numbers than when you are no longer so fresh. You already have a mock-up portfolio, you have some experience. Then what you're going to be sending, you're going to be more valuable. So you're not going to have to do that much numbers for you to actually get a job. Right? So how I find clients has always been through code listing. I use Upwork, but I used Upwork very briefly. I'm not a fan of how much capped my earnings is there because you can get capped at $1,000, $2,000. However, outside of Upwork, even on LinkedIn, I was able to get a job of $6,000, right? So that was $6,000. And that job took me basically 1 month plus to just complete. So we're setting up an entire funnel. So they hired me for the entire process. So basically, I simply go on LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't really use Twitter that much, but LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook groups. I find people who are business owners. I go through their bio. They always have some kind of link there. I research what I can about them, and then I send them a code message or a code email. Let's say, for example, I'll be like, hey, Samson, I can see what you're doing with SuccessDigest. I would love to help you write your next newsletter. Here is a sample I made, or you might not even give a free sample, right? So if you are interested now, you'll be like, oh, that's cool. Let's talk. Or you just ignore me, because there's always people that are going to ignore you are going to be more than people who are going to acknowledge you. That's why I said the first thing I do is to remind myself that, oh, this thing is a numbers game. Or if not, that silence or that rejection, when they'll tell you no, it would cut deep into you. But once you've internalized it that, oh, this is a numbers game, you're not going to feel anything at all. So that's like the overview of how I get clients on any platform at all. It's a cold outreach. You cannot just wait for clients to call. Also, at the same time, I also like make posts, social media posts every now and then to just be active. So they look at my profile, like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. But the major way for getting clients has always been going out there to get them. Okay, or you just simply use Upwork, anyone you want.
Thanks for that breakdown, Walter. Really appreciate that. So now, imagine if you could go back in time to the beginning of this journey, that's 2018.
Yeah.
There's things that you wish to do differently. Yeah. So what are those things for a new beginner that is thinking of getting involved in the freelance copywriting game? What advice would you give them to then prevent them from falling into those pits, if you will?
I would say the major one would be do more volume. So never lose momentum, or don't get emotionally attached to any results that you're seeing. If somebody is doing something better than you, or somebody is doing the same thing with you, but they're making more money, then it probably means that this person knows something you don't know. They're doing something you're not doing, or they're doing more of something that you're already doing. So you want to figure out which one it is and focus on it. Then second advice I'll give myself is never to lose momentum, because I know around that COVID period, that's when I really broke into like $1,000 per month. I was just relaxed. And I think about it, I was like, if I had pumped momentum during that COVID period, I would have been fucking rich, because there was just so much opportunity then. But man, I've not really seen money in life that period now. So when I started seeing that one, and I saw $1,000, $2,000 in the month, I was so happy, because I moved from a distance, because then I managed to upgrade my life to a self-con. Moved from there into a one-bedroom. I didn't even get TV up to like 2022 actually, because I was very focused. But basically, I could afford like the basic things. You know how when you are starting from the mud house, you don't used to drink Milo and tea, you don't used to all those kind of little things, rice and chicken. But now your mind is there, you can easily afford it. It's not something you think about. So I got carried away with that, right? I got slightly distracted. So that momentum I lost took me a while before I gained it back around early 2021. So that would be a major thing, I would say, a major pit for me not to fall into, if I can. That would be the main advice I would give myself about starting again. And there's some other stuff like imposter syndrome, but those ones is mainly you get over those ones with work. Maybe if you're having lack of confidence, you're having imposter syndrome, it's probably because you're not doing enough, or you've not presented yourself in the best limelight that you can.
All right. So the truth is, comfort is the enemy in this game. Yeah.
Yes, it is always.
Always. Thank you for that, Walter. So I have a personal question. I mean, AI is the rave now, and then you see tweets from people saying AI is going to take away the job for freelancers. So what do you have to say about that? AI versus freelancer.
I would say that's a 50% true, and that's 50% not true. Because obviously AI is going to take away the job from like mediocre freelancers, the ones that have not really understood what you're doing, or the ones that just want to do half-baked job. But I've used AI, I still use it. I've used it sometimes. Maybe I want to write something, I want to write like 5 emails, and I don't want to stress about it. I just give it something random, and then bam, like 3 minutes or less, it's already out. And then I can then fine tune it to the way I want, right? So AI is not really going to take a job from freelancers. It's going to take some jobs, not all jobs, because not everyone knows how to use AI to the maximum. Like now I'm trying to use VO3, which is a video creation this thing, and I've not really figured out how to use it well. But I'm seeing some people, what the kind of adverts and the kind of things they're creating with VO3 is really, really amazing. But me, I've not figured it out yet, right? So here's what AI is going to do especially for copywriters. It's going to help them land and juggle more clients. They're going to be able to carry more clients. They're going to be able to manage more clients because they have AI to help them speed up their work. It's going to help them speed up their research, right? It's going to help them be able to deliver faster and on time to clients. So things that you would normally have to like search through Google, go on Reddit threads and the rest. You can simply prompt ChatGPT to get those things done for you. You would have great feedback. You can also use it to think like a human and be like, here's a copy I wrote. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what areas you feel like I should improve and the rest. And it will be able to improve your copy. So that's a very major way AI is going to help you. You're going to be able to juggle more clients. Now, for those who would want to start a business, because I feel like at some point, almost all copywriters would want to start a business. Because once you've started making so much money for your clients, you're like, oh, this thing I feel do on myself now. You want to test that amount of money because that $2K, $3K will not be enough again. You want to test it, right? So it's also going to be easier for you to start that business. No matter as long as you don't sell a product or anything, it's going to make it a lot easier and faster for you to start that business. So that's how I think AI is changing the game. But if anyone is worried that, oh, if I want to start this freelancing thing now, AI will take my job. No, it has not gotten to that point yet. The only thing AI is doing right now is making your job a lot easier, a lot faster. You can literally be someone with a month or 2 months experience and people will still hire you. Because we tend to focus on the people we see who are putting out content there. But the vast majority of people are not even using AI the way like we freelancers or the way people who are in the industry are already using it. And that's a blessing. Okay, so that's just my two take. It's going to help you write copy faster, help you do your research faster, help you start a business, basically just help you get the job done faster, better, and at the same time, that's going to give you opportunity to work with more clients, which means you'll be able to earn more.
So we should stop seeing AI as a competitor and more like an assistant.
Yes, it's still an assistant for now. For a very long time, actually. So it's going to be an assistant.
Thank you very much for your time, Walter. It was really educative learning from you. And I want to ask, what does the future look like for freelance copywriters, especially from Nigeria? Because
I
someone
would
will be
say the
asking,
future looks very bright. You want to ask something else?
oh, answer this one.
Okay, so I would say the future looks very, very bright for Nigerian freelancers because the world is getting more aware. I know people want to focus on, oh, you're from Nigeria, you're this, you're that, but there's a lot more ways to receive your money in dollars without you leaving your house, first of all. So that already breaks a certain barrier. Now, over the years, there are more Nigerian freelancers who have done a great job. So now we have great Nigerian PR. We have like a third world country PR. They know that, oh, maybe they don't need to pay them so much, but they have people who are hardworking and people who actually have talent over there. So the future looks really, really amazing. And again, I would say AI is like a blessing. God, AI is a blessing because like the amount of work you can get done in a short amount of time, it's so great. So, for example, if let's say you wanted to apply to jobs and you are applying to them manually, let's say you're on Upwork, you can use AI now to write a very compelling and very engaging product, job application proposal, as we call it, and it will get it done in like 3 minutes or less. So what that does for you now is that you can apply to more jobs, and not just are you applying to more jobs, the quality of your proposal still remains very good for you to get a reply. So that's future for me. It's a lot easier for people these days than it was back in the day.
Thank you for that. So it's never easier to get into the freelance copywriting space. But the
Yes.
next question I want to ask is, as a Nigerian, there's this question of people don't respond to them because they are Nigerians. They feel they are not in good light. So how do you overcome that objection from clients?
All right. So back when I started, the way I overcame that was I just simply leave the person. So I understood it was, I feel like one of the things that helped me a lot was understanding it was a numbers game. So if this person doesn't want to work with me, another person wants to work with me, the exact reason why you don't want to work with me is the exact reason why someone else wants to work with me. Like one of my clients, Ralph, he was one that haven't paid me over 6,000 because he already hired me. He first paid me 1,000, they paid me 2,000. Then I think we didn't talk for like a year, and then he came back to hire me and paid me over $6,000. And when he came back, he had someone new on his team, right? What they call these guys, like CFO, CTO, but he was like the main guy handling things. So the guy was like, he wants me to go through an interview again, this, that. I'm in Nigeria, he doesn't want to hire me and the rest. But Ralph was like, no, he has worked with Walter before. Walter is good, right? So because the guy already disqualified me, he wanted to like hire maybe someone from their side and the rest because they have a YouTube channel of over 1 million subscribers. There are lots of things they're doing, right? I cannot mention that. But basically, the point was that the guy was like, he's not going to say. He recommended the guy to reach out to me. Oh no, sorry, he reached out to me myself and told me to get on the meeting with the guy. So after the meeting, the guy was like, he doesn't want to hire me. He didn't give me the feedback. He told the clients. But the client stood up for me. Was like, he has worked with me before, and I'm one of the few copywriters he knows that understands copywriting, understands funnels and the rest. So he would really want to work with me. So the point being that because that person has worked with me, and I was not even the only Nigerian that worked with him when I was working with him that time, he has seen that, oh, Nigerians are really valuable. These guys know what they're doing. So he's going to want to hire them. He's open to this, and he's also going to recommend other people. Now, another way that you can also do it is you can just say you're from West Africa. So that's one method I've also learned. You can just say, oh, where are you from? Don't say you're from Nigeria. Just say, I'm from West Africa. The average European, the average American, their brain is not going that far to come and start thinking, oh, where, in what country in the West? They're not so geographically inclined. So it just helps keep the conversation moving. That's the main thing. So if you are someone who is starting and you feel like, oh, people will not respond to you because you're from Nigeria, that's like a thing of the past. It's very rare that you would experience it. And even if you do, just move on to the next one. There is a lot of people out there. People are starting businesses every day. Some people's businesses are growing every day that they need more hands to help. So there is a surplus of job supply out there. If you can present yourself as the right person to actually get this started and to do it.
All right, thank you very much, Walter. I really appreciate your time. So we've come to the end of our interview.
All
So
right.
going forward, how can people get in touch with you? Who would want to learn more about freelance copywriting from you? How can they get in touch with you?
Okay, I would say my Instagram profile, I would say. So they can search Walter Enyinnaya on Instagram. It's verified. And then they can click the link on my bio to connect with me anywhere. Okay. So that's majorly how I like to do it. Or they might even see my ads, though. Obviously, I'm sure some people that watch this will have seen my adverts before. So that one is there.
All right, thank you, Walter. I really appreciate your time. It's been
All right.
an enlightening time with you, and we'll keep in touch going forward. And
All right. Thank you.
I'm just thinking about it. If you're open to working as the Big Brother voice in the next show that's coming, because you already have the voice. So,
If they will pay
so
me well now, they should give me serious money, I will come now. Why not?
I'll be an agent. Thank you very much, Walter. I really
Oh,
appreciate your time.
Allah. Thank you.
Have a great time ahead, man. Thanks, bro.
All right. Thank you, Chairman.